Hey.
Alright y'all, so Alex Sarr made headlines at the most recent Summer League, and unfortunately it was not for great reasons. The second overall pick from this summer through 4 Summer League games scored a total of 22 points. He shot 9 of 47 from the field, 2 of 17 from 3. Outside of that, he did average almost 8 rebounds per game, over 3 assists per game, and 2.5 blocks per game, which was good for 6th in the entire Summer League, so there were some good stats. But most notably, he did have one game where he shot 0 for 15 from the field. Twitter got a hold of it, social media's got a hold of it, and ever since that game, he's just been kind of labeled as a bust to be. So as someone who personally did not watch any of his Summer League games as they were happening, I decided to take a fresh mind and look back at them now and ask the question, how bad was Alex Sarr actually? But first, let's start with the actually good things, the strengths that I saw and stood out to me. And first up is Alex Sarr's passing abilities. Now this was easily the most impressive part of his game, at least from the few games that I watched. And in today's modern NBA, bigs being able to pass and handle the ball is becoming a bigger and bigger thing every season, so it's great to see Alex Sarr already extremely comfortable with that area of his game. It seems like it's going to be a pretty safe bet that the Washington Wizards will be able to use him as a sort of playmaking hub at the elbows, top of the key area throughout the games in Summer League. He was great at getting the ball there, hitting backdoor cutters, running handoffs, and just was really good at spraying the ball all over the court in general. There were a couple of transition plays where it was really nice to see him just immediately take the ball down the court, get some rim pressure on a drive, and then use his 7'1" height and long wingspan and just general tallness to then pass the ball out to his teammates for good looks. But easily the play that got me most excited about Alex Sarr and his passing abilities was this one play here where he ran a pick and roll as the ball handler. Remind you, this guy is over 7 feet tall and a center. As the ball handler, runs the pick and roll and just drops an absolute dime of a touch pass to the roll man through the entire defense. And just being honest, I mean, this is a pass that I feel like at least half the NBA wouldn't even dare to attempt, and we have Alex Sarr, before he's even played a real NBA game, throwing it effortlessly. Now, the other very clear strength from Sarr's game during the Summer League was his interior defense, and mostly defense in general, but we'll stick to the interior defense for now. And this was the very obvious one. Again, like during the draft, throughout the whole draft cycle, this was the thing I kept on hearing, is that Alex Sarr is a great rim protector, and that is, again, just something that's very easy to see. He blocks a lot of shots, he deters a lot of shots. There are even a couple plays where offensive players just straight up didn't even attempt to take a shot with Alex Sarr was in the paint. So as for the perimeter defense, it isn't as good as the interior defense, but Alex Sarr is a good enough athlete that even if he does get beat on occasion by ball handlers or smaller players, then he usually has the recovery speed and just length and wingspan that he's able to get the block from behind, or at least contest the shot from behind. Now, with all that being said, he isn't a perfect player on defense. There are still plenty of plays where he just simply does not give great effort, or he's out of position. One thing that stood out to me is that he still fouls a lot, which is something that he should clean up on as his career continues. One name that immediately comes to mind is like a Jaren Jackson Jr. is someone who has been a DPOY level guy, but has dealt with foul trouble a lot. So, hopefully Alex Sarr doesn't follow down that same path and is able to clean up the defense a little bit. But again, it was just something that was very noticeable throughout the Summer League, is that he was fouling, at least in my opinion, a bit more than he should. And now, before we get into the offensive side of the ball, I will mention rebounding real quick. I didn't really notice a whole lot. In the first Summer League game, he was noticeably not that great at rebounding, but he did get better as the Summer League went on. But I bring this up because multiple draft analysts and even the Wizards GM himself said that rebounding is an issue for Sarr right now. And again, it was noticeable, but I think that's something that he can improve on quickly. But again, there were just a few plays that stood out where it's like, just grab the ball, man. Just grab the rebound, take it and go, or just be strong with it. He's not quite there yet, which is definitely not something you'd like to see if you're a Wizards fan, but I don't think it's something you should necessarily be worried about for the future. Now, when it comes to offense, I'm going to try my best not to get too ranty in this section because, again, a lot of it was bad. The man shot 9 of 47 from the field for the entirety of Summer League, so there weren't that many good offensive plays to find outside of the great passes he made. But don't get it too twisted, there were still some buckets, some really nice buckets that he shot and made off the dribble from the 3-point line in the paint, driving to the rim. It's not like he was completely lost on the offensive side of the ball. It's not like he was having a bad shot selection or anything. He was taking good shots for the most part. It's just that a lot of them were not falling. Because again, he did have some offensive plays where he did look really smooth and the shot looked nice and it was falling and everything looked hopeful. But on the flip side, there were also a whole lot of misses. I will say again, shot selection wasn't bad. He was just missing a lot of shots in a slump, but if there was one noticeably bad trend that stood out to me is that he is very weak with the ball in his hands when he is going up for shots. And I'm really hoping that this is simply just a strength issue that gets ironed out as he, grows into an NBA body. But on a lot of layup attempts, just was shying away from contact, not going up strong, even had a few jump shots where he was fading away for no reason. It's something I like to call the DeAndre Ayton-itis, which, again, if this is something that continues to happen for Alex Sarr in his career, huge red flag. But again, hopefully it's just the fact that he is not NBA ready. More importantly to me on the offensive side of the ball is he just seemed really lost when he was off ball and did not have the ball in his hands. Because with him being a 7+ foot center, obviously a big staple of his game is going to be the screen and rolls. He just did not roll to the rim that well. Like normally when I'm watching, tape for a player and maybe they miss one roll or don't have, they don't give 100% on every play and it's not the end of the world, but Alex Sarr had multiple occasions where there was wide open court space to roll into for a nice little short jumper or layup attempt, and he just wouldn't roll. He shied away from it. He stayed deeper in like the mid-range area than he should be. And the reason why this is a big issue is because most of these plays led to turnovers because his guards were expecting him to hit the open space and he just wasn't. So again, we could go on and on about how Alex Sarr had trouble scoring the ball. He wasn't making shots. He was putting up, tour dates in his summer league games. But none of that stuff really bothers me nearly as much as the fact that he just looked lost offensively at times. And I understand that he's a rebuilding project on a rebuilding team, which is why he gets a pass for now, at least from me, because again, just the offensive side of the ball did not look great. I know we weren't expecting it to look great, especially so early on in his career, but it is a definite thing to monitor as the seasons go on. But to get back to my original question of how bad was Alex Sarr actually, he really wasn't that bad. Okay, it's summer league. This is the time for these rookies to iron out the kinks and get them prepared for NBA basketball. And Alex Sarr, when it comes to that respect, he was no different than any other rookie the NBA has ever seen. The Wizards were purposely putting him in experimental positions, having him bring up the ball, putting him in uncomfortable positions so that he can grow and learn from them. He didn't look great doing it, which again isn't necessarily something you want to see if you're a Wizards fan, but it's something that you have to see, especially for someone like Alex Sarr and a lot of other rookies in this draft class where they are raw talents who aren't exactly NBA ready. But on the good side for Alex Sarr is that defensively he seems to be ready for the NBA. It's just that the offensive side of his game is really far behind right now. So luckily for him, he's in a situation where he's on a team that has no current plans on building a winning squad. They are in the beginnings of a rebuild, so it'll be a perfect opportunity for someone like Alex Sarr to take chances, not play great basketball because there is no pressure to play great basketball yet. Now, if you look back in a year or two and Alex Sarr continues to not be playing good basketball, then obviously it's time to start worrying about him and potentially calling him a bust. For now, the man has yet to even log a single second in the NBA. I personally will be taking the patience route and we'll wait to see what he offers us during his rookie season before making any crazy judgments. But that is all I have to say about this one. Again, please be patient with Alex Sarr. He's a rookie. We knew going into the draft that he's going to need some time, especially on offense. But anyway, if y'all enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.